Started soon. What's up, everybody? James Ing here, biblical success coach. I help entrepreneurs get unstuck, 10x your results with less hustle. And today we're going to be diving into a Bible study and looking at some biblical principles to be able to help you to get unstuck and really achieve some cool stuff. And we're going to talk about the least used but most powerful biblical principle. So if that sounds like something interesting, like this, share this, subscribe to our YouTube with this and so many others online as well too. And I wonder, comment below, whether live or on replay, where it is that you are watching this from. I see Fresno here. We got people from all over the place, which is awesome. But I wonder if this resonates with you at all. Being an entrepreneur, we're taught to be self-sufficient. We have these sayings in personal growth of things like, if it were to be, it's up to me. I got to pull myself up by the bootstraps. We're taught to go to books and mentors and masterminds and all these different things, which I absolutely believe in. They've changed my life. However, as a believer, there's one biblical principle that should be used more. And in fact, even being in church, it's one of those things that I don't hear talked about much, but when I started to understand this one principle, it changed everything for me, and it can change everything for you as well too. And it's the biblical principle of fasting. Now, that sounds, when I hear fasting, it sounds kind of old school to me. I don't know if you feel that way or not. Like, in the spiritual side, we know that we should pray, and maybe we should read our Bible, but fasting, isn't that what like people back in the day did? Like, that is something that is not really heard about much these days. But let's dive into this and how it has practical things for today. And if you understand this principle, it's the one thing that, if you have not tried, could be the keystone to helping you get unstuck and actually achieving some amazing things in your life. Have God show powerfully. I want to go through the book of Daniel, chapter 10. This is amazing. If you don't know Daniel was a prophet, and he was living in a time when his people were taken, the Jews were taken, and they were ruled by the Babylonians. King Nebuchadnezzar comes into the scene. They get removed from their homeland, and they're basically enslaved. And here's Daniel and his people. And Nebuchadnezzar, he was a little bit self-conceited. He put a decree over the land and said, hey, you got to bow down and worship to me because I am God. Like, it's kind of intense. Here Daniel is in a predicament. He's like, well, you're not God. My God's my God. So what do I do? So he's like really desperate. Are you in a desperate situation right now? Are you stuck in something in your business, in your life, where you're like, man, how do I get through this? And what Daniel did is something that we can all implement as well too. And let me talk about why it's so powerful. So the book of Daniel, chapter 10, let's go through this. So it says in Daniel chapter 10, in third year of Cyrus, king of Persia, a message was revealed to Daniel. And the message was true. It concerned great conflict. So he's like, oh man, all right, this is tough right now, right? What do we do about it? And it says in Daniel 10:2, in those days, I, Daniel, had been mourning for 3 entire weeks. I did not eat any tasty food, nor did meat or wine enter my mouth, nor did I use any ointment at all until the entire 3 weeks were completed. So Daniel in here, you might have heard of a fast called the Daniel fast. There's different types of fasts that you can do, but he was abstaining from things that pleased him. Good tasting foods, sweets, wines, things like that. We call that a Daniel fast. You can look that up. There's a lot of books written on that and everything. But fasting, he was in a deep time of distress and he fasted. What's fasting? Fasting is when you abstain from things that your body wants so that you can disconnect from the world and reconnect with God. Now, why is this so powerful? Well, take a look at what actually happens here. This is nuts. If you need a breakthrough in your life, if you need to be able to get unstuck, it says that on the 24th day of the first month, while I was by the bank of the great river that is Tigris, he raised his eyes and behold, there was a man dressed in linen whose waist had a belt of pure gold of Uphaz. His body also was like topaz. His face had the appearance of lightning. His eyes were like flaming torches. Darn. His arms and feet like the gleam of polished bronze, and the sound of his words like the sound of a multitude. Daniel saw the vision. The others didn't see the vision, but they heard. So he saw it. And what happened was Daniel straight up had an encounter with an angel. Like, whoa. And it goes on to talk about the powerful vision that Daniel was given. Do you need a vision for your life? Do you need breakthrough in your life? Do you need guidance in your life? Because what Daniel did is when he was in deep distress, whether that's a problem in your business, a problem in your life, a problem in your marriage, the first thing that he did is he said, let me not go to a coach. Let me not go to another book. Let me not go within myself. These are what the world says. He said, let me go to God. And the best way I can go to God is I'm going to fast. I'm going to seek the presence of God. So powerful. Why? Because when you starve the body, you can feed the spirit. Now, let me put it this way. Why does this actually work? Because we're comprised of 3 in 1. If you want a different result in your life, it's in your business, and you're like, man, things are real tough right now. You're doing your best, you're hustling hard, and you're like, but it's not breaking through. Well, your results are a result of your actions. Your actions are a result of what your mind believes. We have a conscious, we have a subconscious mind, what you feel to be true. And our mind is influenced. And it can be influenced by our world. Primarily, we're influenced by our world, aren't we? We're influenced by our friends. We're influenced by what we put into our mind every day. We're influenced by the books that we read. We're influenced by the external circumstances. So you might look at your business and you're like, well, I see that there's this and this and this production, and that must mean that that's what the reality is. We are so tied to the things that we can see, hear, smell, taste, and touch, our senses, our natural senses, that we neglect to use the higher senses that God's given to each and every single one of us. We call these mental faculties. Intellect, will, reason, imagination, perception, for example. These are the things that God's given to each and every single one of us. It says that man was created in the image of God, and God was first and foremost a creator. He thought things up and he created something, right? So we have the same types of principles and the same type of intellectual faculties, but we tend to not use them. We are influenced more by the world than we are by the spirit. However, we do have a spirit. And spirit is there. God is there. However, God wants a relationship, and God doesn't just impose himself on people, right? God is omnipotent. He's all-knowing. He knows all the answers, right? It says in James chapter 1, verse 5, if anyone lacks wisdom, ask of him, and he will give it to you freely without any reproach. However, we have to ask. If you ask not, you have not. So if you want a solution, if you want a breakthrough, if you want a miracle in your life, then that must mean that we need God's perspective. I hope this makes sense. So stop seeking the aspect of the world. Stop seeking within yourself. Stop seeking as a priority, coaches, mentors, books, and these are great. Why not just seek God first if he knows everything, right? So what does fasting do? Fasting disconnects you from the world by abstaining from things that the body naturally wants, things like food or pleasure or wine, as it says in Daniel. And it allows you to disconnect yourself from the world so that when you're praying, so that when you're reading his word, you can then have a better ability to connect with God. And when you start to do that, it triggers spiritual things. It's powerful. And Daniel did that. And boom, he got some incredible, you can read it for yourself. The vision that he got was spectacular. The vision that he got was nuts. Like, you got to read it for yourself, and you got to read it multiple times because it's hard to believe. But it's safe to say that Daniel received a breakthrough, a miracle, power, exactly, something that was nuts. But that principle of fasting is not just an Old Testament thing. That principle of fasting, Jesus, when he was hanging around his disciples, said, when you fast and pray, not if, but when, there is a principle of fasting. And I wonder, especially now, it is the least heard principle that I hear in any church sermon because it's not popular. Fasting, we live in an instant gratification society. We live in a society where it says if it don't feel good, then it ain't good. We live in a society right now that wants to eat all the time and have pleasures all the time, instant gratification. So fasting is not popular, but it's so powerful. But if you start to apply that principle into your life, you're going to start to see God's presence in your life in a very powerful way and see miraculous breakthroughs. So I wonder, have you fasted before? Of any type, intermittent fast, complete fast. I did a 7-day fast and it changed my life. 7-day water only fast changed my life. And from that, I actually wrote a book from it. It's called The Miraculous Breakthrough Formula, the 7-day challenge, biblically guaranteed to get you unstuck and achieve the impossible. So it's like, there's so much that is going on in this. But yeah, comment below if you've ever had that experience before. Would love to know. And if you like more information on this, I have a free video I'd love to be able to give to you. More about this principle. If you like that video, then if you go to my link tree in the bio, or if you go to my caption, there's a link in there. It's themiraculousbreakthrough.com/free video. You can check that out. Click on that. Would love to give it to you because when I understood this principle, I'm like, man, why don't people talk about this more? Wow, it changed my business. It changed my life. It changed my marriage. It changed my confidence. It changed my clarity. It is so needed in today's day and age. So check that out. Go to my link in the bio or go to my caption and you can grab that free video. But if this encouraged you, like this, comment below what your thoughts are, and subscribe to this YouTube because we put this and so many other cool stuff that is out there as well too. I hope this blesses you. I hope this encourages you. And I hope that through this, you can experience God's miraculous power in your life because it is accessible for each and every single one of us. Other than that, God bless. Talk soon. Bye-bye.